reopen the meeting. It is 7:16, 3:09 post-executive. Do you need to read a statement?
Pledge allegiance to the flag, Mayor.
You don't need to read a statement for after the executive committee? No?
No.
Okay. All right, if everybody would stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance, and for a moment of silence for all of our fallen soldiers, our first responders, and all the citizens that have passed from COVID. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Acceptance of the minutes.
I have a motion to accept the February 9th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
So moved, Mayor.
Second,
I was muted.
yes. Councilman Bonovich for second. I will proceed with roll call. Councilman Bonovich,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell, Councilwoman, please unmute yourself.
I think we need a mute button all the time.
It happens to everybody all the time.
Hit the space bar, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Will give us a thumbs up.
Just put your thumb up.
Have your still, there you go.
there you go. Okay. Councilwoman Richmond,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo,
Yes.
and Mayor Berger.
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to do the report of officials. I would like to start. I have a couple of questions, if I may. So I know that Matt's not on the phone anymore, the Zoom anymore. So can we have some updates on the roads? Because, you know, they're some of them are really horrific. So can we have some updates with that, Brian, please?
Sure, Mayor. That was actually part of my report. Obviously, it's safe to say the winter weather is behind us now, as far as the snow and ice. DPW is out working on potholes currently. We do have a form on our website that residents can fill out if they note a particular area. We're going to bump that up to the top just to highlight it again. Additionally, we have engineering going out just to take a look at all of our problem roads again to come up with a priority list, just to see which ones we need to target first.
Brian, do you have the roads that were done that had to settle? Do you have a plan for those roads?
A lot of those roads are the contractors, the New Jersey American Water. So they'll be responsible for paving those. That's not a township job. I can get an update for you when they intend on doing that.
That would be nice.
Obviously, sure. So I have engineering working on a priority list for the roadways.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian. Mr. Clark, we spoke at the last meeting about the Community Advisory Committee and the ordinance. Have you have any updates on that for us, please?
In terms of the Citizens Advisory Committee to the Planning Board, sure, you can appoint them. I mean, it's the mayor's appointment, and they serve at the pleasure of the mayor. It's in our ordinance, and it's part of the MLUL.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just jump in with that? Brian, Mr. Geegan and Joe Clark, we were supposed to get that form on the website, not up yet. just so people can apply. People have reached out to me, residents have reached out, interested. So if we can get that on the website.
Yeah, we're working on a fillable PDF for people to apply. There's also the standard application. So in the interim, while we get that up and running, people,
All right.
they
If
can
you
apply the
forward the
old-fashioned
paper
way.
one to me, I could just send it to them. There's 2 people, not like called out. Just give it to them.
The next thing I wanted to follow up on is with the Ethics Committee. Mr. Clark, you were supposed to review that as well.
I have reviewed it. It's part of local government ethics law. We can pass an ordinance if we want. We would have to draft it. It would form a municipal ethics board. That board would be responsible for accepting and analyzing ethics complaints lodged against basically the members of council, employees within the town, anybody that comes within the scope of the law. It's typically made up of 6 members, no more than 3 from one political party. They are entitled to hire and appoint their own independent counsel. They have the power to interview witnesses, to subpoena records, to refer matters to the prosecutor's office as they see fit. So that is basically the nuts and bolts of it. They also have the power to levy fines that are consistent with the local government ethics law, which currently is between $100 and $500 for a transgression, and to take any other actions that they see fit as a board. So that's the ins and outs of the ethics board.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that update. We already covered the Cablevision. So, well, we spoke about it. You're going to speak about it again. So the other thing I wanted to follow up on again, Mr. Palazzo, I believe Councilman Bonovich had asked for an accounting of the master plan and what the costs were to update the previous plan before we move forward with updating the master plan this time with the requests. So this is the 3rd meeting, I believe, that we're asking for that information. So do you have that?
Lou, you're still muted.
I could answer that. It was the land use element of the plan. It was like 21,000, and I addressed this the last time, that it would be a lot more money than that because of traffic studies, and it depends on how many roads we're looking at here with circulation. So
The whole cost was 21,000?
21,000 was just the land element. Traffic circulation is a whole different animal. If you're looking at 12 roads, traffic studies on 12 roads, traffic studies, Joe, you could probably answer that roundabout cost, or even Mr. Geegan.
I could chime in. Lou's going to be jumping on. He just stepped away from his desk for a moment.
Thank you.
While we're waiting for Lou to pop on, I just, I want to, I guess when we're talking about the circulation plan, traffic study and the roads, at the planning board meeting on Thursday, we had a pretty intense conversation regarding a circulation plan. Jennifer Beam, our township planner, has been so gracious as to reach out to our manager and she's going to come and speak in front of us in public on the 23rd at our next council meeting. So I think that would be a great place for us to answer any questions, or obviously she'll answer any of anyone's concerns of why we should or should not do it if we need or do not need it. And she will also give a proposal as to the costs of this plan. I don't know where you want to go from here, but she will definitely be here on the 23rd. I think the manager has confirmed that with her, and I spoke to her at the planning board meeting, and she will be happy to do so. So get all your questions ready, Mr. Councilman Bonovich.
They're in my head. They're there.
I know they are.
Lou, do you have that number? Councilman said it was like 21,000. Is that what was he right? Or could we tell him he was wrong?
I did provide that. I'm just trying to circle through my emails. If you'd like to continue the business, I will search through.
It was
that
21.
information.
It was 21, and then there was another invoice for like 1,200. So they call it 22.
Okay, that's
That
fine.
sounds about right, but I will absolutely confirm that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The other thing I had on my list was mass transit, but Mr. Clark, you said that you had a meeting scheduled. I think you sent an email out to us today, so.
Correct. I sent a letter to NJ Transit after the last meeting, asking to open up a dialogue as to what their future plans in the Howell area might be. We heard a response from them, so we're having a meeting by Zoom on March 16th with some of the representatives from NJ Transit and some people from Howell, including myself, Brian, the manager, Justin Yost, probably Matt Howard. We'll figure out what, where Howell fits into everything. I mean, we just don't know at this point, but I'm sure they'll be happy to give us an update.
Thank you very much for looking into that. I appreciate that.
Excuse me, Mayor, the confirmed cost for the master plan reexamination, the contract was in fact $22,000.
So I can't tell Bonovich he's wrong then. Is that what you're telling me? I
probably
can't
not
pick
this
on
time,
him
but,
tonight.
you
Is
know.
that what you're saying? Thank you, Lois.
You're welcome.
The other thing I wanted to mention, well, it's Women's History Month, right? So if anybody has a woman out there that you treasure, please, share their history and share your history. Ladies, I mean, we have 4 of us on this meeting right now, on the Zoom meeting. And I will say that we've all gone through our lives, but we're all here today serving the township. And I believe that those are stories for the young women of today, that they should look forward to, being a part of everything, and also knowing that they can do anything. Anything a guy can do, a girl can do. So like my niece used to say, girls rule, boys drool. So for all the women out there, I really appreciate all of you. And if you have your goals and your dreams, please move forward with them, because you can succeed. There are so many women who have. So I wanted to just say that.
Amen.
The Howell Heritage and Historical Society received a grant for preservation for the Mackenzie House and Library. So that's really nice. Very, very nice to hear. So it's what was it, like 61,000 or so that they were splitting between the organizations?
Yeah, there was 10 societies
Yeah,
that were
10.
awarded. And
That was very
I commend them too, to be one of 10 to get that grant. And, that was to redo the brick, I guess, in the chimney there.
Yeah.
And,
Point brick. Yes.
yeah, kudos to them, man. They stepped up. So thank you guys and congrats.
I'm going to, and I don't know if this is for sure or not, but I'm going to say that I believe Councilwoman O'Donnell had a little bit of piece in there. So I want to say, if you have, kudos to you. Good job. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was the second vaccine for the seniors that we have to do. So I'm going to read this because I don't want to mince my words. The level of callousness demonstrated by the opponents is breathtaking. We're in the middle of a public health crisis. Dr. Anthony Fauci has recommended that you should be vaccinated by any means possible to stop the spread of COVID virus and save lives. It is a sad day when town officials politicize efforts to protect our seniors and disabled members of our township from receiving vaccines. And this is what it's become, putting politics over serving our community and saving lives. Is this really what we as a council want to look like? It's no secret that I am a physician and that in my private life, I work in a federally qualified health center, providing medical services to the elderly, the poor, the vulnerable, and citizens in Howell and all of Ocean and Monmouth County. I've done this very long before I was ever elected mayor or re-elected as mayor. It's unfortunate that I believe the Republicans in town council are fully aware that I am perfectly able to serve the individuals from our community. I've been doing it for years. There's absolutely no conflict in OHI or myself being in the middle, providing COVID vaccine to eligible individuals in our community. I don't have to contract with the town to do this. The town is not paying me for it, and I am not personally benefiting from performing this desperately needed humanitarian service to the individuals in our community. And why would anybody want to stop the vaccines? I'm not quite sure. So you have to ask yourself, who would have a problem with this and why? Who is opposed to trying to help to protect people in the middle of a pandemic, and what is the motivation thereof? Sadly, the only conclusion is partisan politics. So when your grandmother or your disabled son or your child's teacher needs a COVID vaccine, remember those who are trying to stop them from being protected, all because of the hatred for me. And how sad is that? Personally, I'd like to take a different path, one where we could work together and serve all of the citizens and get this pandemic behind us. I call upon my colleagues of the town council to join me and OHI and all the other organizations in our efforts to protect our citizens, instead of trying to stop our people from being vaccinated. And how about just try and help? Wouldn't that be the decent thing to do? Or do we still want to fight about OHI providing vaccines to the poor people in our town that need it? That's up to the council. But I believe OHI will be moving forward with their second vaccine to make sure that the people that they vaccinated first will be fully covered. At this point, I'd like to open up to hearing of citizens. I'm sorry, Mr. Gehegan.
Okay, Mayor. I mean, just to dovetail on what you're saying, there was nothing communicated to me about trying to stop vaccines, although I was asked what other entities are we working with or trying to solicit to come to Howell to, actually roll out even more vaccines than we have given.
Should be, I agree, should be.
Well, I will tell you, anybody that offers to come into this town, whether it be the VNA, ComEd, Monmouth Family Health Center, Center State, anybody who's willing to come in to vaccinate our members of our town, they should be able to come in and vaccinate. And I will tell you that I was told by Mr. Clark that I cannot provide the vaccines, that OHI cannot provide the vaccines. So I'm going to tell you what that's going to cause, right? Is that all of these people that got their vaccine, the first vaccine, I'm going to have to send them to a location from OHI, probably Lakewood or somewhere else. Some came in ambulance, some came by, whoever can get them there. They were in wheelchairs and what have you. So instead of having this location where we started, we'll have to move them and have it someplace else at this point, because they need to have that second vaccine within the next, I'm going to say 13 days.
Joe Clark, excuse me.
I believe Mr. Clark had advised.
Wait. Somebody.
I will tell you exactly what I recommended, Mayor, and I hadn't intended
Brian,
to do this
if you
in
could-
public, but you brought it up.
Brian,
What I
if you
recommended
can-
that you do,
Brian, if
because
you
I have
can
a serious
please mute
concern that
your
you're
phone.
violating the local government ethics law by benefiting from shots that are being administered by OHI in town and are billing the residents' insurance companies and are billing the township's insurers for the police vaccinations. That money goes to OHI, Presumably a portion of it pays your salary.
No, it does
I
not.
suggested that you go to the local finance board and that you request an advisory opinion from them that in the midst of the pandemic, whether or not it was permissible for OHI to take action. I did not tell you not to distribute vaccinations. I told you to protect yourself. And I told you until I was aware of it, it was going to be an issue. That's exactly what I told you. I can keep going into it because you've said.
And
that
I'm
you're a
telling
federal
you, Joe,
contractor.
I will provide the
You should have
second
debarment
vaccine.
issues. You should be speaking with your outside counsel about it.
I have.
Getting advisory
I have.
opinions as to whether or not any of this is
I
permissible.
have no issue, Joe. I have no issue. I have no issue. And I will continue
I
to
have seen
vaccinate
nothing
people
from
in
any
Howell,
attorney telling
in
me otherwise. I
Neptune,
know
in
you're saying it, and I
Lakewood, in
raised it
Tinton
with you.
Falls.
And again, I regret that you're bringing it up in public, but I'm telling you right now what I said. I suggested you go to the local finance board and get an advisory opinion, and I have an email to that effect, and I'm happy to send it to you again.
I
Okay.
have your email.
Joe, did you happen to look into the ethics of the shots? And Mayor, I know you took a shot at the Republicans, and that's very unfair to say that because
Well, because
I have
somebody
not-
on this council, I was told, somebody in this council complained.
okay, but
And I know
Mayor,
it wasn't Bonovich.
how do you, I mean, that, this is where we go off the rails here, Mayor, right? You want to go down this road today? Because it's not fair.
Can I say something?
Make that implication. Excuse me, Councilman Bonovich. I'm sorry, but I mean, I wasn't here the last meeting. I don't know what happened, but for you to imply that the
It
Republicans.
wasn't at the last meeting.
Okay, well, whenever it was, Mayor, that's not fair. And if Joe Clark, who's our attorney, is looking into the ethics of it, and there's no
He was
problem.
not looking into the ethics of it.
Excuse me?
He threw it back at me. He didn't say he was looking into the ethics of it.
I just said, did you, Joe, did you look into the ethics of the shots by the mayor and OHI and together?
I am having counsel look into the issue, yes.
Fair.
It is not a question of whether or not it's a good or noble thing to vaccinate people. We can all agree it is. It's a
Right.
question of whether or not you're getting a benefit that other people can't get as a result of your position, Mayor. And again, I wish you wouldn't have brought this up in public.
I'm
wish you had
perfectly okay with it.
consult
I'm
me
perfectly
privately, but
okay
you
with it in
don't.
public, Joe. I really am.
Listen.
I am
local-
perfectly okay with this.
Local ethics, doesn't it just state you cannot personally use your position for profit? Point
But
blank.
it's a nonprofit organization, Joe.
So listen, if
Nonprofit.
local
Government.
ethics law states you cannot use your position to profit personally. That's not what's happened here. You know, that's like an attorney on council saying I can't have any clients from Howell. It's
Or
the
if
same
I
thing.
owed McDonald's, then I can't sell McDonald's in Howell?
You only sell it to the residents. of
No,
Howell.
it is
I'm
like
just
if
asking.
your company that you're getting paid a salary from is profiting from the Howell residents and you're coming into town and administering vaccinations, I have enough of a concern to raise it with you. And I suggested that you go to the local finance board, and I guarantee you didn't.
Oh, I did.
You
I've
can-
spoken, I've gone all the way up to the governor with this, Joe.
Then you'll send the advisory opinion in and everything will be fine.
I just need to set the record straight here. And to imply that the Republicans don't care about giving our seniors vaccinations is extremely unfair. Just because you have a connection and we don't, doesn't make it right that you're doing it and implying that we don't care about our citizens. That's very
Monmouth
Mayor?
County, Monmouth County has canceled twice on Howell. Twice. They
Okay.
canceled 2 vaccine events in Howell. Do you
the
know what that
bottom-
is?
Mayor, I understand that,
We're
but I
talking
haven't
about
seen
seniors and disabled people who can't get this vaccine.
Mayor,
Ma'am, Councilwoman Richmond, I respectfully want to say to you, OHI provides a community service.
understood,
We are in a pandemic.
understood.
I am mandated by the federal government and the Department of Health to protect all the towns and people that I can affect in Ocean and Monmouth County.
Well, I
I
appreciate,
am not, I do not, and I am not receiving any benefits from this. Trust me.
Mayor.
What we bill is the administration of the vaccine, which is what every and any provider who is putting a vaccine in someone's arm is doing the exact same thing. So what you're saying is that if somebody is on the council, they cannot. What you're actually saying is that I am directly benefiting, and I am not.
All right,
So
listen,
for starters, hold on a second, Ms. Councilman Bonovich, hold on a second. I want to finish this conversation with the mayor. Mayor,
Please.
I am not saying that at all. I am not arguing the ethics of it. That is something that our attorney needs to do. I am arguing the fact that I don't appreciate that you're implying to our public that the Republicans do not care as much as you care. And that's very unfair. That's what my argument here is with you. It's not about you.
Thank you.
Understood.
Councilman. You said that.
And I'm not.
I hear you.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's
hear you.
where I take offense, okay? Because that's very unfair. We don't have the privilege of working for someone like OHI like you do. So we don't have the resources that you have, okay? I did speak to Tom Arnone, Director Tom Arnone. I do have a statement. But with that said, to imply that present parties here, Deputy Mayor Russo and Councilwoman O'Donnell, that we don't care as much as you do, that's what I'm taking offense to.
all right. Can I-
Okay, so I'm just going to say, Councilman, I'm sorry. And then I promise to shut up so you can speak. But I'm going to say, this is about the people that live in this town. And if Ocean Health Initiatives can provide vaccines, as they're providing for every other town, they're providing for religious organizations, faith-based organizations. We're working with housing authorities in towns. We're working with, I can't tell you how many other organizations and how many other towns that OHI is working with. This is simply about, this is a venue for the people that live in this town to receive a vaccine. And you know what, Joe, I get you, I hear you, but I'm telling you, this is a pandemic. And
I
I'm talking
understand that,
about
Mayor, and that's
vaccines in
why
arms.
you go to the local finance
lives.
board, clean it up and make sure that you're not
Everything,
running
I'm
afoul
going
of
forward with the
only
second
thing I care
vaccine.
about is that
I'm going forward with
protect
the
the
second
township.
vaccine.
I protect you. I protect the people as much as I can. I'm not saying
I
no to
respect that.
vaccines. What I'm saying is you have to watch out for yourself. You
I
have bigger
am.
interests to protect. And I know for a fact, I will guarantee that you did not go to the local finance
Don't
board and you do
guarantee.
not have an
Do
advisory
not do that,
opinion saying
Joe.
in a
Do
pandemic,
not do that.
it's okay to do that.
Don't
And if you
guarantee,
really
Joe.
wanted to be careful, OHI can donate the vaccines.
You can't donate the vaccine. The vaccines are already donated. They're federal vaccines.
I understand that.
everybody billed for.
You're getting paid an administration fee, are you not?
There are 20 people that work the event, Joe. They need to get a salary.
That's my point.
So at the end of the day, Joe,
appreciating the
We
subtlety of
could
it,
have
Mayor.
this
And again,
conversation
I
later.
really
In my
wish
opinion,
you had
you're
contacted
still
me
putting a
privately to
bridge
discuss
up
this.
against
And
people
it's a
getting
shame that we're
vaccinated in
talking
this
about this
town.
in public.
So I'm good. I'm
Mayor,
good. Second
Councilman
vaccine
Bonovich.
in March.
Can I say something? Victor Cook is doing a hell of a job. He's the ROEM director. He's trying to get vaccine from everybody, ComEd, the county, and people are promising and dropping the ball. He could go to Central State, he could go to OHI, whoever has supply, that's what he's doing. And just background on it, the last event, Victor put an email out or just posted for our seniors, the 200 vaccines and 1,750 emails came in. That's 1,750 residents. So Victor is tasked with now getting vaccine from anyone and everyone. And I don't think any of us should get in the way. You know, let's just put this behind us. And let's get everyone involved. Get the county involved if they have it. You know, right now they're directing everyone to Brookdale. Let's get ComEd involved. Let's get OHI. Let's get everyone involved. I'm done with this. I think local ethics boards, you can't use your position to profit personally. And that's my 2 cents. I really, let's, you know, Victor Cook's having a tough time, doing a great job. And, you know, the next project Victor Cook wants to do, and Melanie and the Senior Center want to do, is they reached out to do homebound seniors. That's incredible. They can't leave the house. That's our job. This is our residents. If we have anyone that wants to go door to door, anyone who wants to bring vaccine, we should be open arms for that. And that's my thing.
Councilman, again, I think we're all on the same page. Is how we're getting there is very misleading, that the Republicans don't want to give vaccination, that the Republicans don't want to do this, the county, because it's Republican. That's not fair. The Republicans want to help people just as well. And I asked the manager as well. I knew nothing about this. And I mean, the mayor had mentioned it at a meeting. All of a sudden, we had this outpouring amount. People were asking me questions. I know they were asking Deputy Mayor questions, and we weren't in the loop. So what messages does that really send, that when we're all not in the loop, and it looks like just because you and the mayor work for OHI, we're kept out of a loop, and now the Republicans don't want to vaccinate the
I asked you,
public? That's unfair.
are you opposed to anyone bringing a vaccine to our residents?
Am I?
Yeah.
So it was not you.
I'm sorry. Of course not.
I'm gonna say it's not. Brian approved the vaccines when Brian sent out an email and said that there were a couple of organizations coming in to do some vaccines. I said, would you like OHI to provide additional vaccines to whomever it needs them? And he said, the more the merrier, or whatever you said, Brian. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact verbiage. So we, OHI, moved forward and provided this service. And I get you, Joe, I get you, but I'm gonna say, as a healthcare person, I'm going to vaccinate. I'm going to vaccinate whoever I can vaccinate, because the more people vaccinated, the safer we all are.
That's fine, Mayor. It's never been about the vaccinations. It's been about getting the
It's been
advisory
about
opinion
somebody
to say that it's okay
complaining
and it doesn't
that
run
I
afoul
am
of the law.
making money
Two
off of
separate
it.
issues. No one is
And I
faulting
don't
you for
work for the
coming in
township.
town and vaccinating. The problem is that you may end up putting the township in jeopardy. We receive federal monies. And you don't see that issue, and I get it. So that's fine.
not
That's my
true,
worry.
though. The point is, these are federal vaccines. This is a
I
pandemic.
understand, Mayor. I understand what you're
I'm
saying.
sorry,
I
Joe.
understand
I'm
that the
sorry.
CARES Act is covering the vaccine.
I'm going to respectfully
all of
disagree
that.
with you.
I don't know why it's a staunch refusal to go to the local finance board and get the opinion. I would be shocked if in this pandemic you didn't get one saying
Don't
it's
do
okay.
that, Joe.
And then the township is protected and you're
Stop it.
protected. Those are
You
my
know what?
two worries.
Stop it. I've
So,
already, but as
we
soon
can
as
all
I get
say-
the document, it will
again,
be in
it's not
your
about the
hands.
vaccine, it's
Trust
about
me.
protecting the.
But I'm going to
the
tell you,
township.
I'm protecting the people of this town.
I
I'm worried about
understand that,
protecting
Mayor,
the
and
people of the
nobody
town,
is criticizing
our
you for that. What
seniors
I'm saying is you're
and our
wearing
disabled.
blinders and you're
That's
not
what I'm
doing
worried
something
about.
You should be doing.
You're worried
it
about
anyway.
your butt. I'm not worried about my butt. I'm worried about the butts that don't have a vaccine in their arm.
May I ask a question while everybody's in a dither?
Please.
Mr. Deegan, when the police officers were given their vaccines, were you aware of this prior to it happening?
Did she ask me?
Mr. Deegan, the manager, Mr. Deegan.
No, I was not aware prior to it happening.
So, I mean, in some cases, vaccines in arm, no, I'm talking
I have a
now.
question.
Now, you've talked for like 10 minutes. Now it's my
No, I
turn.
just want to ask you a question. Is this about the police getting a vaccine at
That was the
OHI? That's all I'm
question.
asking.
That was the question.
Okay.
And the manager has advised that he was not aware. So it's pretty simple. If we all play by the rules, then you don't bring an atmosphere of, gee, what's happening? So there is a bit of a problem. We are the Faulkner Act. There are rules to play. And you're right, everybody needs a vaccine. And no one says OHI should not do it. The only time someone's going to say OHI should not be involved is if you, as the mayor, you are a paid employee of the township. If there's some violation that puts us in jeopardy, that's another issue. However, while you speak of the pandemic, let me remind you of the July 15th event you tried to have, Mayor, on the Hill, and I'm holding the flyer that we got through Discovery that you were involved. So please don't play the pandemic card, because honestly, no one wants anyone to get sick.
So,
you are in a position to assist.
in that situation,
However-
Councilwoman,
However,
our manager
the
was in
manager should
meetings
always
with
be
me and
aware of
actually
anything
sent
going
his staff
on.
to be in that meeting.
Because you are
So
mayor, you are obligated to follow the rules, as am I or
I
any other
follow the
council member.
rules, my
You
friend.
did
I
not.
follow the rules.
You
I
certainly
follow
did
the
not.
rules.
So to say to
Unfortunately,
everyone
that's for
on
you,
television, you could have spoken to
Councilwoman.
Mr. Clark offline. You chose to use this as a political platform. How dare you? use
How
the
dare
pandemic
everyone else?
as a
How
political
dare
platform.
whomever on this
Oh, please.
council put an ethics issue in? How
No,
dare
it's true. Who
you?
did this?
How dare you?
I did
Not me.
anything.
How dare you?
Show me the
Whoever
charge.
it was on this council who put in an
Yeah.
ethics violation because I gave vaccines, how
It
dare
must have been a
you?
Republican
You
because
don't
it
care
wasn't
about the
Mr. Biden.
township. You
How
don't
dare you
care
say
about the
that?
people that live in the
I
township.
have given
All you
decades
care
of
about
service
is
to this township,
yourself.
and you didn't even live in here. So please stand back and speak the truth because what you're doing
I
is wrong.
am.
Let's move
So
this.
I am.
do not lie any further.
It's so unfortunate for you.
Mr. Clark,
Elections over, you won, Mayor. Let's
You really
move-
are quite something.
You guys both won. Let's move this along. Election's over.
Can't
Let's
hear
go.
you.
all right.
Oh,
Sue,
Brian, do you have anything else that you would like to talk about?
Couple quick items, Mayor. DPW is starting their brush pickup in Zone F as in Frank on April 5th. They're starting the bulk pickup for the spring in Zone A on April 12th. And they will start taking reservations for that on March 29th. So they can call DPW, schedule that. Additionally, our special counsel, Andy Bayer, has initiated contact with Altice to start the process for our cable renewal period. So I know several people have asked about the Citizens Committee. I'm sure that will be coming in the near future as soon as we have reached that point in the discussions with them. In addition to that, the Board of Public Utilities is having a public hearing as there's many towns in the same situation as Howell with a lot of complaints about Altice. That hearing is March 16th at 10 a.m. As soon as I get location or if it's being done by Zoom or video, we'll certainly post that to our website. And I've covered everything else from my report through other questions you've asked.
Mayor, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Clark, do you have anything to report?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Palazzo, do you have anything to report?
I don't believe he has any.
I guess not. Deputy Mayor Russo.
Thank you, Mayor. First, let me just say that I think it's absurd to suggest that anybody up here would not want to vaccinate people. Let me just get that out of the way. The marijuana issue, listen, the people clearly spoke about marijuana in New Jersey. Whether we agree with it or not, we have an obligation to understand exactly how this is going to impact our town. I had the opportunity to read some articles on the issues. It's my understanding that we as a governing body have options with regard to how to manage it. And I would ask that through the mayor, Mr. Geegan, if you can provide us with any and all information as it relates to what we can and cannot do with regard to marijuana. If we need an expert opinion, I would recommend that we do it. It's my understanding we have, I think, 180 days to develop an ordinance and protocol. So Mr. Geegan, if you can do that, if the governing body would support that, we should definitely look into that. That is quickly approaching. With regard to
You just need to, I think we should need to pay attention to the revenues of that in our town.
there's a lot we don't know.
There is.
This is all so new. So I think an information gathering session first, and then we can, once we understand the ins and outs, we can take the next step.
Agreed.
With regard to the Business Recovery Task Force, I just got, Mr. Clark, a survey. I literally pulled the information off of the FinCredit website about about the program, the property tax program. So it'll go out to businesses. I would ask that if anybody's available, I want to set up a day where maybe a Saturday we can go to, if you're free for a couple hours, we'll go local businesses and ask them if they would directly if they would like to partake in this program. With regard to our work with the Alliance that's ongoing, spreading the word about addiction and substance abuse issues with our local businesses. And also an Easter egg hunt. It's a partnership between the township and the Business Recovery Task Force and Mr. Clark and Mr. Geegan. Can you comment on that?
Sure. So it's available on our Facebook feed and it's on our website. Our Stephen Fetcher has put together another event he has in years past, and this is going to be sort of a socially distanced egg hunt. You know, I would invite everybody to take a look at it. I don't recall all the rules off the top of my head, but we're getting participation from local businesses. It's going to be sort of a scavenger hunt of sorts. So I recommend everybody take a look at it. He's been working very, very hard on it. I think he's done a great job.
Great.
And I think it's a nice thing in the middle of an odd time.
Awesome.
And one more thing, Mayor, there were some questions about whether the township can disperse funds with regard to, you know, grants from the state or the federal government. There was one in particular, resident had asked about whether Howell would qualify for a particular grant. I looked into it, and it looks like they're legislatively selected towns that get this money from the state. Howell's not one of them. So if you're watching, sir, unfortunately, Howell's not a legislatively selected district to get the money. But we're always on the lookout for that kind of stuff, and we'll keep our eyes open for any available money for Howell businesses.
Excellent. Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilman. Councilman Bonovich.
All right, so Tommy talked about the marijuana thing. I was gonna touch on that as well. I believe it's, if we don't do anything within 180 days, it just becomes the law of the land with the state. We can't make a tighter regulation, correct?
Sure.
So that's where I would like to look into it. Yes, the commercial corridors or whatever, but we have to add some extra stuff. It can't be near schools. It can't be near churches. We have to be, you know, we have to look into this. So
Absolutely.
do, you know, there is a 2%, you know, for municipality, you know, we could levy on whatever it is, growing or dispensary, whatever. But I really think that we should look at our zoning, figure out where we want it. And then on top of that, add another layer that there is distance from our churches, our schools, or whatever it may be. Or residential.
Residents.
Yeah. So Tommy touched on that. We talked about a lot. It was crazy. But it is budget time. I keep going back to that. And Magic Geegan and I, we talked a little bit, and there was a slight increase in the one layout of the budget that was presented, correct, Brian? It was it 2 cents?
2 cents. The average of about $140 for the average home.
So what I suggest is,
If I can interject, we do not have an introduced budget. That you guys get some hypothetical situations laid out. So
Oh, but
I would caution you about releasing
Okay.
the information
You're
until we
right,
have a
Brian.
formalized budget.
all
Okay,
right,
you're
well,
right, Brian.
anyway, so I'm sorry about that. So what I would suggest is just, you know, another thing, like, this is hopefully post-pandemic, like a post-pandemic, I pray it's a post-pandemic budget. A transitory, if you want to call it, like a budget, transition budget. And, you know, in the past, we've talked about looking at surplus, and now there's this America's Rescue Plan. I would like to see us pass no tax increases. This is not the time for it. So if we could figure it out, if Palazzo and Mr. Geegan, you could give council a couple of different scenarios with its some hires, no hires, using surplus, or, you know, by Friday, if we could tap into this America's Rescue Plan, you know, let's talk about this. I think this is a very important budget. It's a transition time. 4 out of 10 people, I read an article today, 4 out of 10 households, they're having problems financially. And I don't think this is the time to take $140 or $300 from anybody. I really don't. So I would like you to put a couple of scenarios together for council with a 0 increase. That's what I would like. I don't know if council wants that, but that's what I would like.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman O'Donnell. You're on mute. You're on mute, Evelyn.
I've hit the
You're still
space.
on mute. The space bar, maybe? Or if you just go down to the bottom, like if you scroll at the bottom, you could see the mute on the bottom. You're still muted. What about take your mouse to the bottom of the screen of the Zoom, the webinar.
You may not be seeing it.
Yeah, you might not see it if you don't move your cursor over it, your mouse.
Or hit your space button. No, that doesn't work. I thought that worked, Mayor.
I don't know. I don't know. If that works, then I don't think it's working. Pam, I don't think it's working.
I don't know.
All right. So Evelyn, I'm going to go to Councilwoman Richmond, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, Councilwoman.
Okay, Mayor, if you see her mute come off, you feel free to interrupt me. And
That's okay. That's it. As soon as she gets it off, well, when you're done, she'll go on.
okay, so I do have a couple of things.
ahead.
I would like, I'm not on mute, am I? Oh, okay.
No.
I would like to know the scope of that planning board committee. I feel like I missed something. Can someone maybe fill me in on what the scope, what the goal or the plan of that might be or is? And the budget, there is one.
So at this point, I was waiting for Mr. Clark to provide the information. So, and then I'm going to move forward from now.
Okay.
So I will give you that information.
So I'll give you a
Okay,
little bit
I
of an
appreciate
idea
that.
of the scope. It's basically to assist the planning board, but not interfere with it. The planning board has to create rules for it as well. And I'm sure, given that this has been on the books, but hasn't existed as a practical committee in the past, the planning board attorney will circle up with the planning board and try and get some sort of, rules created where they can contribute.
Is there a budget?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I really feel bad that I have to go back and talk about vaccinations, but I do have a statement. It's just a statement. It was, I just wanted to let people know what's happening on the county level. I did speak to the director, Tom Arnone, and Commissioner Sue Kiley. So I'm just going to read it just like you did, Mayor, because you don't want to mince words and you don't want to,
Go right ahead, my love.
Get anything. So I want to first thank Director Arnone and all the commissioners for their tremendous work rolling out the vaccines and their constant flow of communication to the public. I have, of course, been lobbying hard, as we all have, to get more vaccinations into Howell, and I'm happy to report that this is in the works. Speaking with Director Arnone, it's clear that the addition of the J&J vaccine is going to be a big help, and we hope and expect that some of 800 J&J vaccines will be earmarked for Howell, our Howell seniors. The county gets about 2,500 doses of vaccines per year. I'm sorry, per week. I'm sorry, per week. I jumped the line. Per week now. So adding J&J vaccine to the supply will help increase the county's ability to get more vaccines out. The county supply is different from what is made available to private companies like the pharmacies or other medical providers. I'll be working with the director over the next few days on this expansion for Howell seniors, for which we are extremely grateful. So as soon as I have more details, I will get them to the manager, and hopefully, Brian, you can coordinate that with the county and OEM if necessary. That wasn't so bad. Okay. Secondly, speaking of the marijuana that the deputy mayor and Councilman Bonovich, while I respect the voice of the voters to legalize the marijuana, I am really troubled at the last minute, the majority party added language into the law that prevents law enforcement from notifying parents the first time that their underage child is caught with marijuana or alcohol. This to me is a terrible mistake. It should never have been stuck into that law. Director Arnone, which again, I spoke to him today, he actually caught this, and he'll be forwarding a resolution that will speak to how this should be corrected immediately. He'll be sending the resolution to all the governing bodies in Monmouth County for our consideration. It really should never have happened to begin with, and I hope we could take a peek at that. I don't really know how everybody else feels about it. Those who have children, don't have children. I have 2 young children, and I welcome the police bringing my children home if they're found doing that. My personal take on that, hopefully we can consider that resolution. When I do get it, I will forward it to the manager for your consideration. And I don't know if anybody else has heard from residents. I know I have, and I know that, and I'm sure the police are not happy, but I do know that the residents are not happy about this. Councilman Ivanovich, you're looking like you want to say something.
Yeah, there's legislation that's going through the Assembly and the Senate that exactly addresses what you're saying. And I think our resolution should back up that legislation.
Yeah.
It's to let the parents know. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
So we can look at that when that's brought to our attention. Also, our parks, it's still my mission, parks, the laser focus of improvements of our parks. I'm waiting for photos. I have requested from the manager some photo boards to show some pictures before and afters or what's being done. So he can get that to us. And when we work on our capital budget, I hope to have that information too. With the warm weather coming, obviously we know with the pandemic, we haven't done much work to the parks, but I'm really excited to work hard to continue to improve our park plan and working with the mayor and the council to get these park improvements done because we love our parks and we have some pretty amazing parks. Also, I went and I saw, some of you may be aware of Coddington Court. It's over on Aldridge Road. It's been an ongoing thing way before all of us have been involved. I was happy to be able to meet with them and they kind of took me for a walk around. I spoke with the manager and Joe Clark and DPW, a whole bunch of us, and we're working with the developers on getting that eyesore cleaned up. I think it's important when we're around the town and as council people, I take notice to a lot of things that are kind of a little sloppy, a little eyesore. And I know that the manager probably gets too many emails from me as I'm driving saying, can you get to this area and clean it up? So I was happy to meet with them. I think they're happy with us that we're moving forward and hopefully we can get this, I don't know, 7-8 year problem with the basin fixed. So thank you for working with me on that, manager and a lawyer. Also clean communities, that kind of brought up the clean communities situation for me. So Brian, if you could maybe for the next meeting, give me an update on where we're at with that. I'm not sure with Laura Dunwoody with if there's a grant there, if we're not doing it, if the guys quit on us, I'm not really sure. But if you can come up with an update or a plan on clean communities so we can see how we can make those kind of common areas a little nicer and not see just stuff thrown around. And the last thing I had, because I already spoke about Jennifer Beam coming, the efficiency plan. I recommended that we do an efficiency plan. I know Councilman Bonovich asked about $100,000 budget for the budget review committee or something to that effect. I apologize, Councilman, if I'm using the wrong term.
Participatory budgeting, so residents can actually pick a project that we, our professionals say we could use as far as.
Okay. So I was semi-right. So for me, our budgets are very transparent. We have hearings from the citizens. To spend $100,000 on something like that, I think would be better served. And please correct me if I'm wrong, on an efficiency plan that we can look into all of our departments, obviously with a 2-cent increase, possibly on our budget. I think maybe spending that money, I said possibly.
Tax increase.
Sorry.
There's
Okay.
no budget introduced yet. I don't want to panic people.
All right, I'm not panicking. But what I'm saying is if there is a potential increase, maybe an efficiency plan into each department to see where we can cut money, whatever you want to call, corners to save our residents money. I think that money is better served in an efficiency plan than it would be on a budget committee. My opinion, clearly my opinion. And
When I'm talking.
I have a question.
okay.
Are you talking about staff?
I'm not necessarily sure when this efficiency company comes in and they just see how things can run better, smarter, working smarter, not harder kind of thing. So they go in there and they see how we can cut corners, stuff like that. I'm sorry.
Let's say this for next executive. I think both of our ideas are good, and I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. So
Okay, maybe I am, because I don't think I was here when you were discussing it, but if we can add that to exec for next meeting, that's great. But I just wanted to put it out there and make sure we're looking at all departments and see where we could maybe make some savings. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Efficiency study. I think I said the wrong word. Efficiency study, not efficiency.
Nice.
Sorry. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So I think that we have completed the reports of all of our officials. Am I correct?
Oh, Evelyn, Councilwoman, you were just.
Oh, Councilwoman, oh, there you are. She's on.
Okay.
Now you're unmuted. Don't touch the button again.
I-
Whatever you do.
The company that we use for Wi-Fi is extraordinarily poor. I guess I can't say anything else. In terms of the Howell Heritage, yes, they did get the grant. And I will say in the past years, Virginia Woolley's been very instrumental in getting grants too. So they are always looking, and that's a wonderful thing. As always, although they got the grant, there's so much work to be done that they're happy to take any contributions that council personally or public may find that they would like to help out to restore the house to its original beauty. That would be wonderful. The marijuana situation, yeah, we have 180 days to make some decisions. So I know I did speak to Mr. Clark, and they are gathering information so council will be able to make an informed decision. And there's many, many facets to that as well. In terms of the Farmland Preservation Task Force, 14 letters have gone out to potential farmland owners that may be interested in preserving their property. So of course, we're always looking to preserve property, and then everyone can enjoy the rural beauty. There are other properties that are also being looked at. They're sending out a couple of more letters, and there's a further list that will be sent out in the very near future. So at the next Farmland Preservation meeting, I'm hoping to have that number of letters. So I'm very hopeful that we get some good responses. In terms of the roads, a couple of months ago, I gave a road report, and the roads that were planned to be done in 21, my report was cut off short. But at any rate, there is a plan where the roads that they would like to do. And of course, given the winter, there may be other roads that will take a precedent. But we all know that the amount of roads that will be fixed, repaved, potholes done, and all those things to help keep all of us safe depends on how much money this council is willing to give to that department. So while we all want this done, remember it costs money, and I'm hopeful that my fellow council members will think of that in budget time. Secondly, or thirdly, as it may be, the new Easter program that we have this year, the flyer is on the computer, is on the website. So if everyone would take a look at it, yeah, so that parents know they have to pre-register for their children. And although we can't do the original egg hunt that we always do, Easter in the park, this is hopefully going to be a nice replacement this year. And with any luck, we'll be back next year to our Easter in the park.
Seems like a really fun thing.
Does that mean you're registering, Councilman?
Yes, I am. I'm on the hunt.
Put him on the spot, girl. Okay, so are we all?
I'm sorry, give me one more moment.
Go ahead.
Last
Moment's
March,
up.
we
No,
had-
I'm only kidding.
We had an Eagle Scout, Timothy Weg, who was supposed to get, well, I have a note here to give it. And of course, with COVID, we couldn't bring him in. So I have the proclamation and we have yet to do it. So I'm wondering, is it possible to bring Timothy Weg into the next meeting via Zoom so that the proclamation can be read to him? And if needed, I can either deliver it to his house or we can mail it.
Well, maybe we could have a real meeting and he can come in and get his proclamation in person.
Well, that would be nice. This is since last March. So I'm
So
hoping that the Weg
it's a year
family is
old.
watching.
It's a
It
year
is
old.
here. The Township Council appreciate your work, and we intend to make sure you get your proclamation. So that's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Susan, do you want me to, you want to read the proclamation for National Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week?
Yes, absolutely. I would love
Thank
to
you.
read it. However, council needs to make an appointment of a chair to Mobile Home Rent Control Board.
Forgive me.
That's okay. May I have a nomination?
So can you just read the three names that I think you submitted, please, if you don't mind?
Yes, yeah, the people who are eligible for it that meet the criteria are Lara Casper, William Stanton, and Jose Orozco.
I'm going to make a motion to nominate Jose Orozco.
I'll second that motion.
Whatever.
Do we have any other nominations? Without hearing another nomination, I will do roll call. Councilman Bonovich,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Yes,
Councilwoman Richmond,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo,
Yes.
and Mayor Berger.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Proclamation, we were requested to recognize Multiple Sclerosis Week, which is the 7th to the 13th this year. Whereas multiple sclerosis is a neurological disease of the central nervous system affecting nearly 1 million people in the United States alone, and whereas MS generally strikes people in the prime of life between the ages of 20 through 50, and the cause and course of the often debilitating symptoms of MS remain unknown and no cure currently exists, and whereas the National Multiple Sclerosis Society has been committed for 75 years to a world free of MS, heightening public knowledge about and insight into the disease. And whereas together we have transformed what it means to live with MS and provided global leadership to achieve our vision of a world free of MS. And whereas since 1946, the National Multiple Sclerosis Society has been a driving force of MS research, relentlessly pursuing prevention, treatments, and a cure, and has invested more than $1 billion in groundbreaking research. And whereas funds raised through the National Multiple Sclerosis Society fuel research on pathways to MS cures and invest in the MS research workforce at best medical centers, universities, and other institutions throughout the US and abroad, leading to many breakthroughs in the treatment of MS. And whereas stopping MS in its tracks, restoring what has been lost, and ending MS forever is the mission of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and that all Americans and New Jerseyans should support. And whereas the Township of Howell, State of New Jersey, recognizes the importance of finding the cause and cure of MS and expresses its appreciation for the dedication that the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, New Jersey Metro Chapter, has shown towards creating a world free of MS. Now, therefore, Mayor Teresa Berger, and on behalf of the Township Council, by virtue of the authority invested in Mayor by the Constitution and the laws of the great state of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim March 7th through 13th, 2021 as MS Awareness Week, and do commend this observance to all our citizens. Mayor encourages all New Jerseyans to learn more about multiple sclerosis and what they can do to support individuals with MS and their families.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
So we've changed a little bit our agenda, right? So Susan, do you want to go forward, or you want me to say that this is now public comment for resolutions only? So if you have any comment on the resolutions that we are presenting this evening, this is your time to please make a comment. Raise your hand so that our town manager can call you, bring you into the room.
Okay, Mayor. Sorry, the order keeps changing. I have Tina Smilek. I'm moving into the room.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Before you start, oops, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Before we start, I was told that it was going to be explained what the difference is with this new agenda is. I mean, how does this work now? Public comment is just on, can we have some explanation? I mean, this is all new.
if I may interject, okay, this is a trial agenda. We're going to see how this works out. It's nothing set in stone. There will be public comment, as Mayor opened now, for the resolutions. And then later in the meeting, there will be hearing of the citizens for other township business.
Okay, so residents that want to say something have to wait till the end of the meeting to comment on what they just talked about.
Like I said, this is a trial agenda, so.
I know, I'm just clarifying.
Yes,
So wait till the end for whatever they just talked about. Okay, so resolutions only.
yes.
At
Okay.
this point.
Okay, so first, let me start out by saying, Sue, congratulations on your promotion. It hasn't been mentioned yet, so I will just congratulate you. The first resolution, R21-113, this says that we're doing a change to the capital program 2020. When do we pass 2020 capital?
That's typographical error. It should be from 2019 capital. That was approved late. We're expanding to include we're expanding to include some of the problem roadways that we have currently.
Okay, so it's 2019, not 2020. There was no 2020 capital approved in 2020, which means no road work in 2020 was approved to be done in 2021, but we are doing 2021 capital for road work to be approved that will probably get done at the end of 2021 and 2022.
No.
Correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Just need
Really,
to
it
clarify.
depends on how quickly the council approves the capital budget. If we get it approved quickly, we'll have that work out to bid shortly after.
I would love to hear that. I'm sure probably your residents will. Okay, R21-114. This shared service agreement with the Colts Neck. I looked over all the billing we did for last year on this, and I don't see what the benefit of to Howell this is. How do we benefit from this shared agreement? I mean, we didn't even follow the agreement last year because when we asked what quotes were given, there was no quotes ever given before work was performed. You know, no approval of work, no approval from them saying, okay, we agree to do this. I don't understand how we're keeping track of all of this shared service agreements and how it benefits Howell. I understand how it would benefit Colts Neck, but we, the residents of Howell, are paying for the wear and tear on these vehicles, and we have to replace these vehicles when they're no longer good. So I think we should get some benefit out of it. Not that we want to, you know, have a huge benefit, but I just don't see any benefit of this contract. And I was just hoping maybe somebody could explain the benefit of this contract.
Brian?
Well, as we go over this every year, when Ms. Smilik questions this, a shared service agreement isn't supposed to be a huge moneymaker for one town or the other. Howell benefits because our employees get usually an overtime opportunity that Howell taxpayers are not footing the bill. Howell Township benefits in that we bill hourly rates for the various equipment that may be used, and then we charge a small administrative charge on top of it. This agreement is basically in place as a backup plan that if needed, it can be used. Just like Howell has with Monmouth County. We enter a shared service agreement for DPW with Monmouth County every single year, and it's just there if we need it. And for example, if we have them pave a road for us, they'll come in, do the work, and we pay their bill. It's a backup plan, nothing more.
Okay, no, that's great. I was just looking at the billing, and when you look at the billing to this, it doesn't break it all down, so you don't really understand it. So thank you for explaining. That's all I have for resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next, Brian?
Hold on, Mayor, I'm moving Ms. Smilik back out. And currently I have Barbara, presumably Dixell.
Barbara, you're on mute. You're still on mute, Barbara. Can you hear me?
Hello,
Good evening.
evening, Mayor and Council. Barbara Dixell, 62A Piazza Vittoria, Freehold, New Jersey. The first resolution about the spraying, I have to tell you again, I do this every time this resolution comes up. Years ago, the township sprayed, and of course, nobody was notified. They do it airborne, and one of our township residents, Wendell Manson, was out in his field doing what he does, and his horse were sprayed. And Wendell spent months in the hospital, nearly dead. I'm not sure how the horse survived. And if he did, it wasn't by much. But I'm asking again, please publicize this all over. Tell the farmers, do anything. I absolutely would be horrified if any resident were unaware of this spraying, and it is lethal. I mean, absolutely lethal, the stuff coming out of the sky at you, be sprayed and wind up an inch from dead and months in a hospital. Please, I really need that. Can you tell me anything about that? Anybody?
Mayor, to review, this is a county program, and as soon as we get a schedule from them, we can certainly publicize it.
Please.
However, it is vary based on weather.
You'll publicize on the website, right? And is there any other way that we could publicize it? I mean, could we like blast it out just like we do with some winter events or something like that? That, you know, between, I don't know, X and X day we'll be spraying for mosquitoes, just, you know, be cognizant.
Nixle alerts we reserve for actual emergencies, so I would not recommend doing that whatsoever. People get annoyed by towns that frequently notify people.
Do you have
for
another
various-
solution? Do you have another solution?
What? How township?
No, Barbara, wait a second. I'm sorry, Barbara. I was asking Brian a question. Please, Barbara, wait 2 seconds.
Absolutely, I'm sorry.
No, Mayor, I'll, you know, if you have any suggestions, I'd be more than happy to take however you want it distributed. Again, this is a county program, so they're the ones that do the scheduling. It's not a Howell Township program.
No, I understand, but we could still, you know, notify our residents and we could put it on the website. And I get and totally understand that what you're saying, that people don't like that. But if there was an incident, you know, it's you want kids, dogs, cats, you want to keep your pets inside or your little kids inside. I don't think it's an unreasonable request, to be perfectly honest.
We have to avoid Nixle, Mayor.
Nixle too much. People
Yeah.
unsubscribe, but then
Yeah.
don't receive notifications when there's a true emergency.
No, I
So-
understand. I'm just saying if there's a way that we could somehow notify another way, I think it would be, you know, I'm just not sure on the ways that we do notify. So if you can educate me on that, then
Yeah.
we can come up with a solution.
I have a suggestion.
Please.
Use Civics Plus. That's how we, you know, notify planning board and stuff stuff like that.
Perfect.
And obviously our social.
That would be our
media, right?
website,
Our-
which I mentioned. Once we put it on our website, people will get notified through Civic Plus.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect,
more-
perfect, perfect.
Excellent, Brian. Thank you. Thank you, Bonovich.
Hello?
Yes, Barbara, please continue.
I'm sorry. I understand, Mr. Manager, you say it's a county program. You gotta be real cognizant and be real concerned about our Howell residents. This is a farm community, and you have to understand this is not like a city, like Freehold. This is a farm community, and farmers are out in their field all the time, tending their crops, tending their land and their cattle and whatever. So we really need to be more on the ball with that, and not just say it's a county program. We really need to take care and concern for the residents. And I would be horrified to ever see anything like what happened to Wendell Manson, where he came real close to death for months in a hospital, and his horse also. So that, another thing, R 21-113, could you tell me what that is?
If
That was
you want to do it, Brian, go ahead.
Sure. The previous resident had asked the similar question. We're expanding an existing capital program with a contractor that we already have under contract to do a few other roads in Howell, namely West Farms Road, which has been identified as one of the more serious condition roads. So this is a mechanism so we can get them out there. We're allowed to expand their contract by up to 20%. So this is well within that range.
Okay, and R 21-115, the firing range. Which range are they talking about? The police range or the one like by the senior center?
That's the same one, Barbara.
Okay, because I've spoken to residents who hear the firing at all hours. If you're gonna make an agreement with Marlboro, can you please ask their membership or their policemen to be more respectful of hours, like business hours, like 9 to 5, or because sometimes they're later at night on the weekends and early in the morning, and I hear all kinds of complaints from people I know that are very upset about that from the firing ranges.
So if I may, Barbara, I live maybe 800 feet from the firing range.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to say that I usually don't hear it past 10 o'clock at night. I do think that they do some in the mornings, maybe on the weekend, but I don't think it's before 9 a.m. So I'm not quite sure what the complaint, the hours that person that you spoke with is complaining about. But I mean, again, I live right here. And so I do know when they're shooting for sure, when they're practicing, but it's not that it's interfering, with sleep or anything like that. So if you could please give more information, I would like to hear about that, because I like I said, I live right here.
All right, just let them just be more cognizant of hours when people are up, more like daylight hours, and not early in the mornings, not late at night. That's all. Just ask them to be more just ask them to have more concern for the residents. That's all.
I will absolutely do that. And I do believe, though, that they do respect that. But I will absolutely reiterate that for you. Thank you.
And I thank you very much. Thank you. You can take me off.
Mayor, if I can comment real quickly
Sure.
on that.
Yes.
An agreement that we do every year. It's just a renewal of an agreement, just like the previous one discussed. We have a number of other police departments that do use our range because our agency is fortunate enough to be able to have that, where many police departments do not. They do not shoot past 10 p.m. However, police officers work around the clock. So as part of their qualification process, they do have to shoot in dark conditions. So I can't say it's going to be between 9 and 5 as requested, but it will not be past 10 p.m.
But 10 p.m. is late. Can't they go 9 o'clock? I mean, 10 p.m. is late. Sometimes people want to go to bed.
Well, so I totally respect that, Barbara, but we also have to respect that we have officers that work 24 hours a day, right? So we need to make sure that they're safe as well when they're out in the field. So I respect your concern, and I say thank you. And I will, Brian, we could speak to the chief and, have just a little conversation about that. But thank you so much, Barbara. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, I'm switching Ms. Dixell out. And are there any other members of the public that wish to comment on any of the consent agenda items? Mayor, I'm not seeing anybody wishing to participate any further.
So then I would entertain a motion.
I'll
I'm sorry, Susan. I know, I'm sorry.
That's okay. May I have a motion authorizing resolutions R 21-107 or R 21-116?
I'll make
Is-
the motion to move R 21-107 through R 21-116.
I will second that.
Thank you. I'll proceed with roll call. Councilman Bonovich,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo,
Yes.
and Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Thank you.
Non-consent resolutions, we don't have anything, do we?
No, no non-consent resolutions for this evening.
Okay. Public,
Public hearing and adoption for ordinance 021-2. I'll read the statements. Ordinance 021-2 introduced and passed on first reading on February 9th, 2021, and published according to laws, now being taken up for further consideration in public hearing. Affidavit of publications for this ordinance in the Asbury Park Press, issue of February 25th, 2021, is submitted and noted that a copy of the ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and that copies were available to the general public upon request. This ordinance is to amend Chapter 188, Land Use, specifically Article 24, Stormwater Management Control. May I have a motion that ordinance 021-2 be finally, oh, I'm sorry, let's open for public hearing. Is there anyone? Manager Gagan, do you have anybody for public hearing for this ordinance?
Yes, I do. If you'll hold on, I am going to move in Tina Smilek. And I'm also moving in Matt Howard, who can address any questions.
Only one question. I'm just scrolling through it. I really didn't get to read it. I don't see where the changes were made. Is there anything crossed out or what was added, or how do you tell on this?
This is a
sorry?
whole new ordinance. The previous section is going to be stricken. This is replacing the existing ordinance.
And what was the stricken part? I don't see anything stricken in here.
The entirety of the old ordinance is going to be removed, and this is a completely new ordinance. So everything you're seeing is really being added.
Okay. But that's not the proper way an ordinance should be put in here, so residents know what's taken out and putting in. So even doesn't council need to know what was taken out and what was put
should
into the
be-
ordinance?
it should be a red line, blue line, black line, whichever way you want to do it.
I mean, stormwater, we need a stormwater plan, and I think I haven't been able to look through it. I'm just trying to decipher what the differences is, and I can't see, does anybody know, can you explain what the difference is between the other ones and this one, that what's exactly changing?
Whenever we redo an ordinance, we replace it in its entirety. We don't bother redlining it. We just note for E-code that it's being replaced in its entirety. That is the proper way to do it, and that's the way that we do it. I'm sorry that you may not appreciate it, but the entirety of the ordinance is being repealed and replaced. This was something that's been promulgated by the state. It's been adopted by all municipalities. It was supposed to have been adopted by the end of last month, but we had a publication error by the press. So this is not something that we've created out of whole cloth. This is a state product. And basically what it does, just to give you the key differences between this and the old, it's moving away from detention basins, retention basins, and things like that, and into more spread out sort of stormwater dissipation, rain gardens, etc. It also cuts in favor of the creation of homeowners associations and new developments, so that there's a body there that exists to maintain the basin or maintain the stormwater management facilities. And that's basically it.
Okay, and council all knows the changes, right?
Yeah, this is basically like Joe said.
Okay. No, as long as you guys know and you read it, we voted you in, I'm fine. Thank
Been
you.
circulated for over a month.
And it's similar to like the development I live in Toscana. We have a HOA and we have 2 detention basins. It's really protecting the town, all the residents, that, you know, certain developments, they disregard their basins, and then the DPW has to go in, and the costs are laid on us, on everyone. So it's
Excellent. Thank you so much for the explanation.
Okay, Mayor, if you give me a moment, I will move Ms. Smilek back to the attendee role. And I have Barbara asking a question, moving her into the room now. Barbara, you need to unmute and you can ask your question related to this ordinance.
I printed all 37 pages of this thing, and I really have a tough time reading it. My concerns are runoff into the water, into the streams, the Matitaconk, the Manasquan, the streams, the lakes and the creeks from fertilizer that will destroy, that destroys the rivers. Is that in this also? And is that part of this ordinance on stormwater runoff?
It doesn't address the Matitaconk directly. It's designed to be a state model ordinance for passage by every municipality throughout the state. So no, it's not Howell specific, but the principles that are embodied in it are designed to do what you said you want to see done.
Because when I was the liaison to Matitaconk, I went to plenty of meetings, and I saw even Barnegat Bay and all the runoff. And even when the builders here in Howell build development and they have to put the runoff into someplace, they're putting runoff into our streams and lakes. We got rid of a gas station at the Villages years ago because they were going to put runoff into the Longbrook. One of the schools on Adelphia Road right now go into, I don't know what's behind them. One of the streams is behind the school. So again, through the outflow pipe, they're going right into the streams that back there. Does this ordinance protect our streams, and do the builders and everybody have to take more control or more protection for whatever they're doing, that they don't destroy the drinking water and the streams and everything else? Because right now next to the Villages, they dug up next to the Villages that they're going to put 15 stores and 2 fast food restaurants, and they're talking about draining into the Manasquan River and the Banner Meadow Brook. Well, guess what, guys? That's our drinking water. So how do we get protected?
The answer is yes. The ordinance, which was the model ordinance from the DEP, the general idea for all the stormwater rules is to hold the water on site from a development, to treat it and to infiltrate it on the site. There's not supposed to be impacts. There's not supposed to be runoff off site. So the answer is yes. Major developments that have to comply with this ordinance will be doing all those things that you had said.
So this 15 stores is directly on the bank of the Manasquan. I can guarantee you it's going to happen. All right. No, I just, please, just let this ordinance protect our waterways. Howell Township is into watershed. We are in the Manasquan. We are in the Matitaconk. We're probably one of the only towns in New Jersey that are in 2 watersheds at the same time. So we just need to be protected, and so do all of our streams. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, I'll
Thank you,
move Barbara out.
Sorry.
Any other member of the public wish to comment on this ordinance? Mayor, I'm not seeing anybody raise their hand.
May we have a motion? Excuse me.
We have a motion to adopt ordinance 021-2.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 0-21-2.
Do we have a second?
Muted, I'll second.
Thank you. Councilman Bonovich,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo,
Yes.
and Mayor Berger.
Yes. Introduction of ordinances.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 021-7 on first reading by title and order to the same to be published in the March 12th, 2021 issue of the Asbury Park Press, together with notice of its introduction and passage on the first reading by title, and that it will be further considered for final passage after public hearing at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on March 23rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. prevailing time in the municipal building at 4567 Route 9 North, Howell, New Jersey, presumptively via Zoom. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
I think Councilwoman O'Donnell second.
Yes. Roll call. Councilman Bonovich,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo,
Yes.
and Mayor Berger.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing Chapter 330 of the Township Code entitled Excessive Consumption of Municipal Services.
Thank you. Do we have hearing of citizens for town business only?
Mayor, I have Tina Smilek. I'll move her into the room for public.
Okay, can I just have an update of the road work that's going on West Farms, what exactly it is?
Milling and paving, and there's curb work that was either just completed or is in.
Okay, because I see the New Jersey Natural Gas there. Are they also putting in lines or something?
I have no information about that. Do you?
I don't have any specific information. I'd have to check with engineering as to what they're out there. I'm sure it's associated with the road work though.
Okay, is this from the grant that we passed, or is this New Jersey Natural Gas? Do we know how this is being paid? Like, is this like something we did, or is this something? Because we had a grant for West Farms at one time.
No, we didn't. We had applied for one. We did not.
I didn't hear that. You got cut off.
We did not receive a grant for West Farms Road. We had
Okay.
applied for one, but we were not awarded that.
Okay. So how is this being paid for? 2019 money?
Yes, out of 2019 capital money with an existing.
Okay, thank you. Master plan, we're talking about moving forward on all these master plan things, yet there's still a lot of things that, I'd like to ask council if you would be willing to find out what they have on the master plan that you haven't passed ordinances, and our ordinances do not match our master plan. Right now, I know you still have, the master plan still says SED light with warehouses and distribution centers, although you didn't pass it as an ordinance. So our master plan says one thing, is my understanding, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And our ordinance say another thing. Should we rescind the plan, should planning board rescind that resolution? So we don't, or redo that resolution to take out warehouses and distribution centers and SED light? I mean, what's going on with that?
Brian? Or
Well,
Matt?
Mayor, if you think that, you were awaiting the formation of this committee to get some more public.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody keeps this on the forefront of their mind. Before we move forward with master plans, we still have some master plan issues that have not been looked at. And I don't know if this will land us in legal issues or not. So I would just like to see that SED light zone either rescinded or brought up to date before something, goes on there. A while ago, you were bringing up I hear a lot of this, like council saying to each other, well, I didn't know this was going on and I didn't know that was going on. A while ago, like last year, you all agreed that maybe getting a shared calendar to put this all on so you all would know what's going on. So there was no lost communication, maybe to curb some of this, nobody knows what's going on. I know a year ago you brought it up. Is that something that you can implement so you are all on the same page?
That would be nice.
I mean, personally, as a resident, we just need you to do your jobs. We don't care what party does it. We don't care what party brings the vaccine. Give us the vaccine. Just work together to get this done. I mean, it's not even an election year this year. Can we just drop all politics and just at least do this year without any politics? Elections is next year for, everybody. I'm tired of watching the Facebook posts and other things that come back and that are so divisive. So let's work together. You know what? If OHI can bring in the vaccine,
Excuse me, one more minute.
okay, thank you. Maybe Mr. Clark can reach out, and this is something we need as a town. If Monmouth County wants to come in, bring them in. Nobody cares. Seniors, 1,700 seniors now are in Monmouth and Howell that do not have the vaccine. Nobody cares about the arguments. We care about getting the vaccine here. Make it work. Let's just move forward on that. The efficiency study that was brought up, there was an efficiency study done about 10 years ago. Maybe you can look at that. I've seen them done in many towns. I don't see them providing much information to efficiency studies. They never have, never will. They didn't use it 10 years ago, but maybe if somebody can pull that up and show it to you, maybe to give you some idea of what was done. Your choices. I just wanted to bring up that there was one done, not, recently.
I'm sorry, time is up. Would you like to proceed? 3 more minutes?
Yes, please. I just have one more thing.
Okay, I will take a quick vote. May I have a motion to proceed?
Motion for Tina Smilek to proceed.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, please proceed.
Just real quick, marijuana issue, I totally agree. Kids should, parents should know that should never go through. Totally support that, Councilwoman Richmond, that was right. But please, if we do distribution centers or whatever you do, whatever you decide, there should be nothing attached. Like, I really like what Councilman Bonovich says, do not attach it to a residential or a school area. You know what, we got plenty of property that, I'd rather see something like that rather than a warehouse or distribution center, because you know what, it doesn't have trucks, but I don't want, maybe bring the police in on it too, to get their input on it, and they're the ones that have to deal with it. So, but thank you very much. All have a great week up ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you, Tina. Ryan?
Hey. Yes, Mayor, I have a Scott. I'm moving into the room now.
Good evening, Council. My name is Scott Nielsen, resident of Hedgewood Road, Oak Glen section of town. Currently, the Township of Howell does not offer bulk pickup during the winter months. They also do not take a drop-off at the recycling center. I just wanted everyone to be aware that I called my garbage provider, FCI, to pay and have that item removed, which was a single recliner. That's currently suspended due to COVID. They did offer to me that I could drive it there and drop it off, although it'd only be like $5. I'd have to pay a fee to drive over the scale, which was $30. Several towns that surround us, Howell Township, Jackson, all offer year-round drop-off and/or pickup. The ability for a resident to dispose of something for 4 months during the winter just causes an inconvenience to the residents, as well as it's easier to illegal dump it and throw it on the side of the road and see that TV sitting on the side of the road for months. So this is something the township should at least consider. I understand that Public Works is extremely busy, especially during the winter months, but at least an option to drop it off without paying a crazy amount of fee.
Mr. Clark? Or
Mayor,
Mr. or Mr.
there should be bulk pickup, or I'm sorry, bulk drop off at our center more frequently. I'm not sure what he's saying, that it was, only during certain times. If he could, Scott, if you could send me your information, I'll follow up on this, just to,
Yeah. The recycling center only takes recycling. I have no way to drop off a recliner or dispose of it anywhere in this township unless I pay a private vendor. The private vendor is suspended during the COVID. So essentially, unless I have a friend that lives in Jackson, that I throw the recliner in my truck, drive to their house, pick them up, then drive to Jackson's drop off and drop it off with their thing. There's no way to dispose it in town. So I understand recycling you can drop off anytime, but bulk pickup is only from, I believe it starts the second week in April, and then it's till Labor Day or so.
So maybe we could take a look at that. I mean, maybe once every 2 months on the off months, maybe, or something that you can come up with, Brian, might be great for the residents.
I'll speak with the Director Novello about it. It also depends on our licensing and what we're able to take.
Sure, absolutely.
There are certain restrictions with that. But if Scott, if you'd like to follow up with me, I'll certainly get you more information.
Will do. I appreciate it. I understand people say store it in your garage, but it's tough to store a broken recliner in your garage when it's snowing for 4 months to wait for bulk pickup. I'll gladly go drop it off. There's just nowhere to drop it off.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, if you stand by, I will. Any other members of the public wish to address the governing body? I have Barbara raising her hand again. Barbara, if you could unmute, you can address the.
Hello?
Hi, Barbara.
Thank you. Okay, council, regarding vaccines. I have been calling residents in the villages to give them the Office on Aging, Monmouth County, their phone number to get on their list to get a vaccine. And they've been called back, and they've been getting vaccines at Brookdale, at the Collins Arena. My question is this. The villages has 671 homes and about 1,000 residents, senior residents. I'm sure many people have, but I am concerned that we have homebound residents who obviously, because they're homebound, cannot and are not able to go get a vaccine. Is there a way to contact or get in touch with or do anything to get the Monmouth County Health Department and or whatever to have a mass vaccination event in the villages to make sure that the villages seniors are vaccinated and are safe? Now, right now,
Mayor, would you like?
well, right now, the management is putting roofs, major construction on roofs on all the houses. So the clubhouse is locked. So I don't know where they would have to have this thing outside, but is there any possible way that the Monmouth County Office on Aging, Health Department, or anybody can maybe hold a vaccination event in the villages so that people can be vaccinated and be safe? And I know I'm going to sleep at night because I call people all the time and give them the number and tell them, call your neighbor and give them the number.
Well, as you referenced, Barbara, that's a county program, so you would need to contact them directly for that. The town doesn't have control over it. And from a township perspective, we can't prioritize, one area of senior citizens over another. And to comment on your previous comment about the homebound seniors, we do have our Director of Senior Services, Melanie Decker, working on that, also in conjunction with our Meals on Wheels program to help identify those homebound seniors.
All right, I'll get in touch with Governor Murphy. I'll call
Barbara,
Barbara, if I may, it's Councilwoman Richmond. I also forgot to mention that the county is working on a mobile unit. So I would call them or wait to hear an announcement from the director or known regarding a mobile unit. And we're advocating for Howell to be the first location
I
for.
don't get any direction from them in Freehold, so I get direction from you guys.
Well, they're a county, they're Monmouth County, and we usually, a lot of us share their stuff on our social media, or we can figure a way to get that out to the seniors.
But the Villages is I know Surrey Downs had a testing. I know they had a testing
Once again,
of a mobile unit, but we are a large community, and I'm deeply concerned that I have homebound residents who would be put in danger by not getting this vaccine because they are unable to.
hey, Barbara,
Yes.
and I'll reiterate what, Councilman Richmond said and Manager Geegan said, and the mayor, we all said, events can be scheduled by the county or whatever service it may be, Central State. The only issue that would be is you cannot just say it's only for the Villages. That's number one. Number two, you said there's 1,000 residents. So if the county was to do it, if this hospital was to do it,
Remember,
it would only be like 100 or 200. So you do need everyone to be on board, not just one or the other.
One more minute.
Okay, Mr. Bonovich, Crossroads vaccinated everybody in Crossroads. They had a vaccination event.
How
And
many
that's it,
people?
hopefully.
How many people were in Crossroads?
I don't know how many people live there. I'm sure it's more than 100.
so Barbara, I'm going to say that every event is different and every organization that runs an event is a different event. So, I mean, all that we can hope is that other organizations would like to come into Howell and vaccinate our residents.
I'm just voicing my opinion and voicing my
And
concern.
And I appreciate that. And I totally respect that opinion. And I believe that everyone wants all of our seniors to be vaccinated. And I believe that we're working as hard as we can. And I do believe that the manager has worked with other organizations to bring in vaccine. The problem is the demand is so much more than what we all have. So,
I'm available for people to contact me, believe me. I say I try very hard, for years, 20 years or more. I've been, the county committee person here, working day and night, do whatever I have to do to keep these residents safe. So I'm just requesting or talking about this vaccine. So I guess I'll call the government.
Barbara, I think that we all are in the same area. We all believe that our seniors and all the rest of our residents need to be vaccinated as quickly as possible if they choose to do so.
I'll give you one, for instance, and I have to tell the governor's office, they have a glitch. They have a technology glitch. I have had people call me frantic that they have everything loaded into the system, and when they click their card to take the picture, it kicks it out, it won't take it. So I have to go right to the governor and tell him there's a system glitch. And that's from Trent, or whatever.
I'm going to say, Barbara, unfortunately, there's got to be glitches everywhere.
I'm just telling you that.
These vaccine events they're not a small task to move forward with. And so I think that whomever is doing it, we need to, understand that there's a lot of background work, whether it's VNA, whether it's the county, whether it's, Center State. There's a lot of work on the back end to make sure that everybody gets their vaccine and then gets the second vaccine. So I think you need to be a little bit more tolerable with the organizations that are trying to help our town.
I'm sorry, we've gone over 5 minutes.
Look at me, I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just asking for help. That's it.
No, understood, totally understood and respect. And thank you so much, Barbara.
Just asking for help.
Absolutely. Understood.
Thank you.
Brian?
Okay, moving Ms. Dixell out of the room. Any other members of the public wish to address the governing body? Please raise your hand. Mayor, I'm seeing none.
Wow. So at this point, I guess that I would like to call for an adjournment. If we may.
Mayor?
Well, Susan, I don't want to, we're trying to do this new thing. So Susan?
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Before we adjourn, the next meeting, we need to say that takes place on Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021 at 6 for executive session, if we have that, and at 7 o'clock for regular session. At this point, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll do roll call. Councilman Bonovich,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo,
Yes.
and Mayor Berger.
Yes, and thank you all for a great discussion this
Thank
evening. I
you.
truly
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Have a great week. Be safe, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Night.